Hello, it's Dr. Farmer. I wanted to take a moment to go over with the midterm feedback that you all completed this semester. Remember that all feedback is anonymous. I can't see who completed the feedback. I only see what was stated. So there are no penalties or anything like that for sharing. I appreciate the 10 people who completed the feedback. I know you all are busy and you have other things to do. The first question says, what about the course has been most interesting and enjoyable to you? One person said, I enjoy the content and learning about the history. Another, learning about the history. I like learning about cultures that are different from my own. History, the readings, good choices about the readings for the class. I love the required books again. Um, so most of the positive feedbacks about the materials that were selected for the class. Another one of your friends said, I like how friendly the students are. I find it helpful to educate myself more about African American community. I enjoy the discussion and replies from classmates. Dr. Farmer is extremely helpful. He is very responsive to my emails, concerns, and clarifications. Um, the second question, what do you like least about the course? That it's asynchronous. I think would be get more out of this class if I were able to hear feedback from the instructor and have live discussions. Just as FYI, I did teach this class for years in person before I put all of my classes online. I definitely like the in-person format. It just so happens that right now my classes are all offered online. One person said it's very repetitive with the same assignment every week. And I get that. That makes sense. My only response to that would be that it's really like any other class that you would have. You go to lecture. Typically, if these were in-person classes, you would go to lecture every week. You'd hear the professor discuss a topic. You'd have a class discussion. Then you'd come back the next week and do the same. I try to set this up as close to my in-person class as possible, minus the lectures. All of the data suggests that just videotaping myself talking to you all and posting that online is not the best way for students to learn, which is why I don't videotape lectures and put them up. But I do get the comment. One person said, I'm not looking forward to the group paper. Group work is difficult when it's in class and in person, and I imagine it's going to be more so with the online class. I think if it was a presentation instead of a paper, I would prefer better about it because it would be pretty clear which group member did what. Typically do well on papers, and that thought of turning in something that wasn't completely done by me makes me really anxious. And I get that too. That's actually a common piece of feedback that I get. Let me just give you a little logic about why I have you all do a group paper. And it's mainly to help you all develop skills that you'll need moving to the next level. Those of you all who work and work on teams know, particularly in this COVID environment, that the group paper really reflects what everybody is having to do now, which is establish a group, develop a project, and present that project to a team. That's what I do now as a clinician, as a faculty member. Everything's done online. And I think it's important that there are certain skills that you develop while you're in college. And I think the ability to have the social skills and the organization to communicate with peers electronically, over the phone, and through those methods and get a project completed, I think that's a skill that will benefit you moving forward. Um, some of you all may have heard one of my popular sayings, one of the sayings that I like to say a lot, which is it's always important for you to have the ability to have difficult conversations. The quality of your life will be determined by your ability to have difficult conversations. And I think group projects put you in a situation where you're forced to share feelings, thoughts, and ideas with other people that can sometimes be difficult, but work through those skills because it's necessary. Um, Another bit of feedback was the time limit on the exam because it takes around an hour to type all the answers. I think there's another person who said something about the time limit on the tests. Um, And so that's something that I can immediately respond to. I believe the time limit for the exam is an hour and a half. It's easy to boost that up to 2 hours. So the next exam and the final exam will be a 2 hour time limit. I can add 30 minutes. If you're having difficulty doing that, that's fine. And it makes sense because typically I have 90-minute exams, but they're half essay and half multiple choice. So when you all are having to write all of this information, it could take longer. Another bit of advice would be to prepare your answers as we go throughout the semester. Don't wait until exam time to go back and then do the exam questions. I would prepare them, and then that way you have them already. You can study them, understand them, and it makes it easier for you to then type them during the exam period. Just a bit of feedback. Another piece of feedback, the fact that it is online only with Dr. Farmer. I think they're saying that it would be nice to have in-person time. It could be saying that they wish Dr. Farmer weren't teaching the class. I don't know. But I hope it's that they wish that we had in-person time. Another person said, I really like it. I don't like the exams. We talked about that. I'm very shy, which is on me. Engaging discussion helps me overcome social anxiety, despite the fact that we aren't in a classroom face-to-face. I like the challenge, so I have nothing negative to say. So that's question 2. Question 3 said, were there any things that you were expecting from the course that you were not getting? No, not really. One student was expecting Zoom meetings. Just as a FYI, this is a completely online class. So when you see online for classes, that means that there is no Zoom component to it. Another person said, not exactly. I do wish discussion boards were more actual discussion and less of us just agreeing with each other. But I don't think this has anything to do with the way you structure the class. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have people agree, but it's nice also to hear your personal opinions. I hope that you all have noticed that you don't get points deducted if you don't agree with what I'm saying. That's not, you answer the question and then we have a discussion. You don't have to agree with me and you don't have to agree with your peers to get credit for the discussions. I want to make sure that that's clear. You do have to be respectful of your peers' opinion. So there's a way to disagree with others. But in terms of, us all viewing things the same way, that would be impossible, and I do not expect that. And I'm happy with the discussions that we're having up to this point. I honestly felt that I would be more engaged in the readings, but for me, I just feel that this is fast paced. We do go fast, and I get that, but there's really no way around that. I try to put the information, actually, we cover the same information that we would cover if it were in person, because remember, I did teach this class in person for a number of years. And so I just put it in an online format. I didn't increase the amount of information week to week because I'm not lecturing or anything like that. So, hopefully it's in digestible blocks that you can digest each week. Another person said, what I expected from the course is exactly what I received. I appreciate that. The last one is, what suggestions do you have for the course? I.e., what things would you like to see improve? Maybe offer one class meeting a month or more in-depth, thought-provoking videos once a segment is completed. I would like to see different types of assignments, maybe more video lectures or videos to watch to break up the amount of reading students have. I think if you broke the class into smaller discussion groups, it lead to more conversation on the boards. Or maybe if the requirement was post an original thread, respond to a classmate's thread and respond to someone's comment on your own thread. I just think that we would benefit more from more actual discussion about some of the topics as opposed to the usual, I agree to your point. I get it. 2-hour limit for the test. Oh, okay. I said we'll do that. We're going to do that. And then the other thing they asked for was reply to peers by Sunday. I do want to give you the logic as to why I have the due dates for the discussions the way that they are. Because I've tried them a number of ways. I've tried Sunday due dates, Sunday and Wednesday due dates. And the reason I have them the way that they are is because my idea is that on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, you take the time to read the chapter because you got to read the chapter to be able to answer the questions. So you read the material and then you answer the questions by Tuesday night. And then you have the rest of the week to read peers' responses and then respond to those peers' responses on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Saturday, you start over again. If you notice, I put grades up typically on Saturday or Sunday. The idea is that that discussion is over as of Saturday. You start the next week's information the next week. And so you start over Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, read the new material, answer the new questions, and then for the rest of the week, respond to peers. So that's the logic behind that. So if we push that back to Sunday, then you would have less time during the actual week to do this discussion thing, and then you'd be discussing over the week. Personally, I prefer when you're reading on the weekend rather than having assignments due on the weekend. That's why it ends on Friday, so that you're not working on things, well, not working on discussions on over the weekend. So that's the logic, but I also understand the feedback. Wait until the assignments from students are submitted before putting in a grade. That's a great bit of feedback. And here's why I do that. I have no intention of leaving those grades if the grades, you have an opportunity to turn in late assignments. And remember, all assignments can be submitted late. It's just a letter grade for each day that it's late. So if it's a 25-point example, for example, for homework, each day a letter grade would be 3 points. So the next day the max you could get would be 22 points. The next day the max you could get is 19 points, so on and so forth, until you subtract so many threes that there's 0 available. So that being said, if it's only been past due a couple of days and I put a 0 into your grade book, that gets your attention. That's all that is an attention getter. Because when you see that 0 and you say, oh, I'm just 2 days late, you'll be amazed at how many students immediately get that assignment in, or at least send me an email asking, I forgot this assignment, or I didn't see this, or whatever. And it just jars you to get the assignments in so that you don't miss any points. If I didn't do that, then students might go along not even knowing that they missed an assignment or understand the significance of missing the assignment and not get it done. So it's simply a jarring. And any student who's turned anything in late after I put in a 0 knows that I update your grade once you submit the assignment. So that's my logic behind doing that. I know it's kind of, anxiety provoking, but it would be more anxiety provoking to get a 0. I would give way more time to give questions way earlier so that you could have this time just to type up the paper. We give way more time or give the questions way earlier. So if you're talking about the exam questions are have always been available from the very first day of class. If you go to week 0, start here, you'll see the exam questions. You have always been able to have access to those questions, and they're even available now for the final, even though we haven't covered that material. And then due to the pandemic and the transfer of remote learning, I have no concerns or suggestions for improvement. Dr. Foreman is an excellent professor, and I personally do not feel as if I have any needs. I promise you I didn't write that. Somebody wrote that. I appreciate the feedback. And that's the feedback for midterm. So the take homes for this are do the essays as we cover that material so that when the exam arrives, you're not trying to complete 8 essays at one time. Also, we'll extend the time on the exam to 2 hours from 1.5 hours. And then finally, if you have any questions or concern, reach out to me, send me an email, schedule an office hour visit, and we can address it, or I can at least explain the logic behind why I have developed the class the way that I have. And I've gone through a number of trial and error situations with this class to get it to where it is, but I also know it can always be improved. So I hope that this was helpful, and I look forward to talking to you soon.